Good midnight everyone, welcome back to your beloved Drawback chess speedrun series, the only chess series ever that has a perfect 100% win rate that not even Magnum Carlos can achieve. And without any further ado, let's get into today's content. Today we're climbing from 9,000 to 9,100 rating points. True gentleman, can't capture queens. That is a simp's behavior, not a gentleman's, but who am I to judge? Reveal drawback to opponent. E4. D5. Okay, with such a diabolical reveal drawback, this game is most likely not going to go well for me. The most obvious and probably my only possible plan is to play super aggressively and win the game before he knows that he can just destroy me with his queen. Bishop b5 check. Bishop d7. My opponent counter revealed. Greedy, you can't capture a piece if you could have captured a higher value piece. Okay, that sounds pretty easy, but at least there should still be a way for me to take advantage of that. Queen g4. His bishop cannot take my bishop because it can take my queen. Who knows, maybe he'll actually take the queen and hang his own king. You can hang your king on this website, by the way. c6. Aha. Bishop takes c6. Ha. Same thing as before, can't take my bishop because you can take my queen. He blocked his bishop from seeing my queen. Okay, can't do things like that anymore. Bishop takes b7. At least I can win this rook. Never mind. I can already see that this game is going very wrong very quickly. Can't take the queen, queen h3 instead. Queen e3 check. Alright, of course moving the king is just avoiding the inevitable. Queen takes e6 last ditch effort. Who knows, maybe he'll move his king. Didn't work. Alright, rough start for the day, but you know what they say, the first step is always the hardest. Second game, let's go. Octomom. Lose if your opponent captures 8 of your pieces. Okay, an instant loss drawback, but it actually sounds very manageable. Reveal drawback to opponent. E4. E5. My opponent counter revealed. Greedy, you can't capture a piece if you could have captured a higher value piece. Wait. This is the exact same thing that my previous opponent got last game. Oh my god, this is undoubtedly my chance to immediately practice what I've learned from last game. Bishop c4. Okay, but based on last game's experience it seems like it is not that easy to take advantage of the drawback though. It was literally among the easiest ones available on the website. Let's just try to survive my own drawback first and wait for the chance to come. Knight f6. Knight c3. d5. Aha. He's immediately going for the center battle, going directly for my drawback. But that blunders a pawn. Bishop b5. Okay, so here's the plan. Now I have this potentially dangerous d5 pawn, therefore if I can somehow make my opponent attack one of my pieces, he will temporarily cannot take this pawn and I can march it down all the way. Knight f3. Provoking his bishop or his pawn to attack this knight. Take bishop g4. Aha. Alright. Here we go. d6. This pawn is invincible. Bishop takes f3. Okay, but sadly I don't see there is much more to do with the pawn up there. I mean, at the end of the day it's just a pawn. d7 check. Ruining the castling right should be good enough. He chose to go forward. I'll say that is a profit. I'll take with pawn. Queen d7. I took his bishop with pawn because I was thinking about trading queens, but on second thought I don't want to trade anymore. People change. Queen e2 instead. Knight c6. Bishop e3. Okay, so I guess the most optimal thing to do is to somehow get his queen to attack my rooks. Only then my bishops will truly become invincible and his queen also cannot take a defended rook, as that is just losing materials. Rook d8. Castle. But the question is, how can I force him to attack my rooks with his queen though? If I just go rook d1 then he is obviously moving his queen away. Wow. That was very convenient and should have probably blundered the entire game. Bishop c5 check. It's not checkmate yet, but I don't think he can get away with both bishops active like this. Rook blocks. Doesn't work. Queen takes f1. Bishop takes the king. The game is a win. Absolutely amazing, 1 win and 1 loss. Final game. Rising water. Every 10 turns, the water level rises 1 rank. You can't move pieces that are underwater and you can't move to squares that are underwater. Swimming is not an option. Reveal drawback to opponent. e4. My opponent counter revealed. Inside the lines, you can't move onto the rim. Open parenthesis. You can make moves that start and stop on the rim. Close parenthesis. Aha. So his drawback restricts his access to the rim, but my drawback actually prevents me from keeping my king on the starting rim. These are actually two very well coordinated drawbacks pairing together. This is going to be a good game. d5. That blunders a pawn. Of course he wouldn't want to move his queen away from the rim and render her completely useless. Never mind. Knight c3. Queen e5 check. Knight f3 ignoring the check. Once a piece leaves a rim, it cannot land on another rim anymore. My opponent realized his mistake and decided to just get rid of the maiden. A very decisive individual. D takes c3. 5 moves already though, 5 more moves until my first rank is flooded. Bishop g4. I'll lift the queen first. Bishop takes f3. Queen takes f3. On second thought I shouldn't have moved the queen first and could have just waited for the bishop to take the knight. My bad, but it's alright though. Knight f6. Queen takes b7. Okay, this is actually worth it. With his queen already dead, I can actually just keep my king on the first rank, which means the only dangerous pieces left are his rooks. If I can remove both of his rooks with this queen, this game is then physically impossible to lose. Knight c6. But no need to rush. Bishop f4. e5. No time to save that bishop, I'll just develop the other one. King e7. Alright, now let's take this rook. He took a bishop. Absolutely no problem, 1 queen and 1 bishop should already be enough. Queen takes c6. He hangs his king. I accept the resignation. 2 wins and 1 loss. Drawback chess speed run today. 100% win rate.